Stellantis, the automaker, announcing a surprise net loss of almost €2.5 billion in the first half of the year. This company makes Jeep, Dodge and Chrysler. It cited the cost of restructuring, but also said US tariffs are weighing on its business. We're joined by Huw Williams, national spokesperson for the Canadian Automobile Dealers Association. He's in Washington. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Huw.
Andrew, thanks for having me on. Obviously concerning news, and again, very predictable with respect to the tariff situation. Very disruptive for the auto industry on both sides of the border, both for manufacturers, dealers, and most importantly, for customers.
Can you fill us in? Now, apparently tariffs were only going to apply on vehicles that weren't covered by the North American trade agreement, the existing Mexico, US, Canada trade pact. But have tariffs gone on top of that?
Well, I would just say that the entire tariff situation is, highly unpredictable and borderline irrational when you look at all of the things that have been tariffed, whether that includes steel, aluminum, of course, copper tariffs, and auto tariffs have been particularly problematic because, while USMCA parts are exempt, it's still an effective 12% tariff as you start to look at the build of the cars. So, what we're down here in Washington doing is talking to not just decision makers on Capitol Hill. We have 25 meetings lined up over the next couple of days with senators, congressional leaders, and of course talking to trade associations down here, because we think the voice of the auto industry down here has to be louder and is getting louder to point out that we can't have a competitive auto industry in North America if we don't have free trade between Canada and the U.S. on automotive.
So some vehicles, fully finished vehicles going from Canada to the States will be, I know this probably doesn't affect your members directly, but some of them will be subject to a 25% import levy imposed by the US?
Well, it has to do with USMCA content at the moment, but there's such a great amount of uncertainty with respect to parts, with respect to the country of origin, also the rules that have been applied since the Trump administration came into power have I'll just call it politely hiccuped over time, and nobody built their system in terms of tracking the compliance of parts. So there's been definitely an expense that has been hit with automakers, and our message from the very beginning on this to U.S. lawmakers, and of course we've had the support of the U.S. dealers, the National Auto Dealers Association here in the States, one of the largest advocacy groups in North America, that at the end of the day we need to have consistent supply chains, and if we have tariffs between Canada and the U.S. in automotive, the people that are going to get hurt most by it are actually the Americans, because we are their largest customers. Canadians buy 40% of our vehicles are American made. And if you look at the overall world export market for the U.S., Canada is the #1 export designation for the U.S., and we're larger than the next three markets combined. China, Mexico, and Germany are the next three largest markets. If you take all of those American-made vehicles going to those three countries, Canada is still bigger than all three of them.
So vehicles that are coming in from the States now, has our federal government put new tariffs on them?
Our government has been very, very smart, and I've been in touch with the Prime Minister Carney's office and working closely with them on the right approach for Canada. Our argument to them all along has been, let's not make the situation worse by our American trading partners are threatening us with a gun. Let's not shoot ourselves in the other foot. So they've come up with a very intelligent process which says if you're manufacturing in Canada, you've got effectively a quota or a cap. They don't call it that, but you're allowed to import what you were importing previously. They're trying to preserve the automotive footprint in Canada while at the same time managing this highly volatile situation. The one thing I can tell you from our early discussions with congressional leaders leading up to today's trade mission, which goes through till Thursday, is there's I think a new awareness amongst congressional leaders and hopefully amongst the Commerce Department as well, to recognize that Canada is not the problem here. If you look at trade deficits across the whole spectrum of America's trading partners, China's the problem. There's other nations that are hugely the problem. Canada has an automotive trade deficit with the U.S., $900 million in the U.S.'s favor. And as you know, a lot of your viewers will know, the trade deficit with the U.S. only exists because they're buying our oil and gas, our energy to drive their economy, and they're buying that at a discount. So that's the message we're delivering. I'm optimistic, and certainly in talking to trade officials, I think there is reason for optimism. But certainly, when you see these costs piled on, that's a concern, because the supply chain needs to be healthy. We have to have healthy manufacturers to have healthy dealers and healthy customers. So, today's announcement is obviously a problem.
How are consumers behaving? Are people coming in trying to buy cars in advance of tariffs coming into effect?
Well, Andrew, you must have studied economics, because that's exactly what's happening. So clearly what we're seeing in the Canadian market is people are worried about the tariff situation. They're watching the news. It's dominating the news. And Canadians have been moving those purchases forward. The other thing that's happening certainly in the U.S. is they're experiencing the same thing. They see the tariff conversation. They're worried about prices here. So there's been a little bit of a tariff bump driving sales forward. And of course, with the tariff bump will come a tariff hangover as the whole situation evens out. So we're hopeful that we get trade officials to the floor on both sides, that Prime Minister Carney works out a deal with the U.S. administration, and we're trying to do our role to help the American legislators understand that we need a healthy relationship between Canada and U.S. on the trade side of the equation for this all to work. And one other point I would just make, Andrew, it is time that we got out of our own way with respect to some of the trade barriers that we have in Canada. Certainly the Prime Minister is focused on that, but the one that he can act on right away is getting rid of the EV mandate, which puts us out of alignment with the U.S., puts us out of alignment really with the world. We need to aggressively get rid of the EV mandate, let the market find its way, particularly in these times where companies are hurting.